came across a word called speciesism. Can you define it for us?
Say for example, China में लोग कुत्ते खाते हैं. In US they love dogs, but at the same time US में लोग beef खाते हैं. But India में cows are sacred. Speciesism, प्रजातिवाद भी जो है ये एक ह्यूमन सेंट्रिक नोशन है. अब हिटलर को ले लीजिए, जस्ट बेस्ड ऑन द रेस कि अच्छा ये Jewish है, they are lesser.
To be exterminated.
They exterminated.
What happens there? Like what has PETA India discovered?
इंडिया में आज की डेट में लोग ट्वाइस द अमाउंट ऑफ मीट खा रहे हैं जो 50 साल पहले खाते थे. टू सप्लाई टू दिस इंक्रीज डिमांड, फूड एनिमल्स, फार्म एनिमल्स जो ब्रीड होते हैं ये फैक्ट्री फार्म्स में होते हैं और ये सिवियर कन्फाइनमेंट में जब इन्हें रखा जाता है तो इनके पास इतनी भी जगह नहीं होती है कि मुर्गी एक पंख फैला सके.
We evolved from cavemen who ate meat to survive. Which one are you on?
They were mostly plant eaters. They ate very little meat. That too from small animals, very little meat. हम पूरी तरीके से herbivores हैं. Why? हमारा jaw sideways and ऊपर नीचे दोनों move होता है जैसे कि एक गाय का, बकरी का होता है. But अगर आप किसी carnivore का jaw देखोगे, we are just 8 billion humans on the planet. We are killing 92 billion animals, land animals, and trillions of fishes every single year. 10,000 larvae killed, boiled alive.
10,000 lives.
10,000 lives just for one silk sari. India is the country that has brought veganism in the forefront. The Brokpa tribe, from 5,000 years ago, they used to live in Himalayas and they were the first vegans ever documented in the history.
Namaste and welcome to this episode of the Oddcast Show. Today we have a wonderful personality in the house, Dr. Kiran Ahuja ji, who heads veganism projects at PETA India. And we're very happy to have you here with us, ma'am. How are you doing?
I'm very well and the pleasure is truly mine. Thank you so much for having me here, Kunal Sued. And as I'd mentioned, I've been on various media interviews. This is my first podcast.
Oh, but
so
this is not a normal podcast. This is the Oddcast Show.
This is the Oddcast,
This is talking about stuff that's odd but relevant. And we feel that this topic is very, very odd and very relevant at the same time. And, that's why we invited you here. And thanks for accepting our invitation. So to begin with, I just want to understand that, what is PETA India? What are its objectives and missions in India?
Sure. So PETA India goes by simple principle that animals are not ours to eat, where used for entertainment, used for experimentation or abuse in any other way. And therefore, PETA India works in areas where most amount of animals are killed, and that is, in laboratories for experimentation, in the food industry, in leather trade, in entertainment business. So these are the areas that we focus on. We work with government, we work with corporations, we work with individuals to raise awareness and, to make this world a kinder place for animals, as animals are just like us in the ways that matter. So they are sentient. That means they have the ability to suffer and feel pain. They are intelligent in their own ways. They also feel, express and experience all the emotional states as we humans do. So they feel pain, joy, loneliness, jealousy, sympathy. So they have all these emotional states, and that's why I feel that they are equally deserving of a moral and legal consideration. And this is not just for animals' sake. We should be kinder to animals, not just for animals, but also for our own self, to have a better future, to have a better society. So I feel it's a moral responsibility, a moral obligation we all have, that the least we can do is, in today's day and age of conveniences, be kind to animals and, make some personal changes. And that's what PETA, promotes. We ask people to go vegan because I think that's the single most way individuals can help animals and be kind to animals.
Wonderful. You're talking about coexistence, right? But
Yeah.
Also a lot of humans, generally, the human race feels that, hey, we're on top of the food chain. And, the law of the jungle is that, the stronger eats the weaker. And when this is going on in the jungle where animals are eating animals, what's stopping us? Why should we stop?
So one, this food chain is made by this pyramid of we being on the top of the food chain is a human-centric notion. This has been made by humans for the humans. So we are the oppressors, and our opinion of why we should be on the top and others should be subjected to the abuse and exploitation doesn't apply. And there is nothing natural about the way we live now. We live in air conditioned. We don't live in the temperatures that are there outside. We live in air conditioning. When it's too cold, we live in
We have
heaters.
conveniences.
We have conveniences. We use mobile phone. We use laptops. So it's not that we are actually living in nature. Today we have choices that we can make, unlike someone living in a jungle
Or a caveman days.
or a caveman did. So today we have choices. We go to the supermarket. We can choose which product we want to pick up from the aisle, whether it's a product that has come from systemic exploitation, suffering and killing of an animal or a being, or whether it's a plant-made product, which is also better for our health. So we do have choice now, and it's not that. And you mentioned jungle. I want to mention that in jungle, if a lion wants to hunt a zebra, the zebra has the equal opportunity to run away. They have equal opportunity to escape the situation. What we are doing is breeding animals in factory farms where we haven't even given them a choice to escape the situation. So this is pure exploitation, where I feel the opinion of the oppressor shouldn't matter. It should be the victim who should matter.
I think that's a very valid point, because I've never looked at it that way. Thanks for bringing that up. The other thing I was reading about, when I was reading up on you, I came across a word called speciesism. So what does that mean, and can you define it for us? And what's the Hindi word I understand is Prajativad for it.
Prajativad. So Prajativad is basically an unjust and arbitrary notion, presumption that humans have, that some species are inherently superior than others. And this is purely based on our preferences or our views of those species. Just to give you an example, have you ever wondered why do we eat chicken eggs and why we don't eat pigeon eggs? Or why are we comfortable eating a sheep or a goat but not a dog? So this all boils down to speciesism. We have in our cultural construct decided that some animals are worthy of a protection or kindness, and others we can freely exploit and kill. So that's Prajativad for you. एक और चीज मैं इसमें बताना चाहूंगी प्रजातिवाद में, ये कंसिस्टेंट नहीं है, ये एक कल्चरल कंस्ट्रक्ट है. दिस इज नॉट कंसिस्टेंट, इट डजंट अप्लाइज. से फॉर एग्जांपल चाइना में लोग कुत्ते खाते हैं, करेक्ट, बट इन यूएस लोग इस थॉट से भी दे विल बी अगास्ट, दे विल बी वेरी एंग्री कि कुत्ते को कैसे, बिकॉज दे लव डॉग्स. बट एट द सेम टाइम यूएस में लोग बीफ खाते हैं, बट इंडिया में काउज आर सेक्रेड. सो ये जो प्रेफरेंसेस भी है ये इनकंसिस्टेंट है. ये सिर्फ हमारी इमेजिनरी डिफरेंसेस के ऊपर है कि हमने एक एनिमल को हमें एक पसंद है और दूसरा नहीं पसंद है. और अगेन स्पीसीज्म, प्रजातिवाद भी जो है ये एक ह्यूमन सेंट्रिक नोशन है. एंड बिकॉज इट इज अ ह्यूमन सेंट्रिक नोशन, ऑब्वियसली वो जो लिस्ट ऑफ सुपीरियोरिटी है उसमें हम टॉप पे हैं कि हम सुपीरियर हैं, इसलिए हमारा किसी भी एनिमल को मारना या उसे प्रताड़ित करना, उसे खाना इज ऑल जस्टिफाइड, जायज है. सो आई फील प्रजातिवाद जैसे स्पीसीइज्म वर्ड है ना, ऐसे बहुत सारे इज्म रह चुके हैं हमारे सोसाइटी में जो कि हम आज मानते हैं कि दे वर द evils in a culture. जो बोलते हैं ना कुरीतियां, कुप्रथाएं, ये वैसे थे. जैसे कि रेसिज्म हो गया या फिर सेक्सिज्म हो गया, तो ये जातिवाद हो गया. वैसे जैसे मैंने सेक्सिज्म बताया उसे लिंग भेद. तो ये सब जो है ये एक इमेजिनरी डिफरेंसेस के ऊपर बनाया हुआ जो है हमारा जस्टिफिकेशन है, ताकि हम जो दूसरा है, ये एक थीम है ऑफ अदरिंग हमारे कल्चर में हमेशा से रही है, ह्यूमन हिस्ट्री में, कि हम दूसरे को बोल देते हैं ये अलग है, ये अदर है, दिस इज नॉट अस, और ये कंसिस्टेंटली रहा है। आप चाहे आप फेमिनिज्म मूवमेंट देख लीजिए, अंटिल लेट 1800 औरतों को तो वोट करने का भी राइट नहीं था दुनिया में कहीं भी, क्योंकि ये ऐसा पेट्रियार्कल सोसाइटी मानती थी दैट women are less rational than men, but that's not true. Similarly, कुछ लोगों का ऐसा मानना था, आप हिटलर को ले लीजिए, just based on the race, कि अच्छा ये Jewish है, they are lesser, they exterminated. Then the genocides have happened because of these imaginary perceptions of differences, and these are amplified. Then this doesn't exist truly on ground. These are amplified because we are all Homo sapiens. Similarly, if we talk about animals, they're all animals. Why do we differentiate between two birds, a peacock and a chicken?
Right.
A peacock is a bird.
Eat the peacock,
yeah, we don't eat the peacock. We find peacock beautiful, we protect peacock, but we are exploiting, killing, exterminating chickens.
But what kind of cruelty happens, like, when they're being bred? Like you mentioned that, humans are making these huge farms and they're breeding these animals only for consumption. And they're not giving the choice to that animal to escape.
Yes.
So what happens there? Like what has PETA India discovered?
So, I think chickens by far are the most abused animal on the planet. And most consumed animal too on the planet. And because in India, I'm not even talking about the world. इंडिया में आज की डेट में लोग twice the amount of meat खा रहे हैं जो 50 साल पहले खाते थे. So the consumption has increased. Yes, the consumption has increased. The population is of course increasing, and to supply to this increased demand, ये फैक्ट्री फार्म्स बन गए हैं, और 70% ऑफ एनिमल्स आज की डेट में जो फूड एनिमल्स, फार्म एनिमल्स जो ब्रीड होते हैं, ये फैक्ट्री फार्म्स में होते हैं. और ये फैक्ट्री फार्म्स का सेटिंग ऐसा होता है कि यहाँ पे हमको प्रॉफिट चाहिए. सो दीज एनिमल्स आर केप्ट इन सिवियर कन्फाइनमेंट, और ये सिवियर कन्फाइनमेंट में जब इन्हें रखा जाता है तो इनके पास इतनी भी जगह नहीं होती है कि मुर्गी एक पंख फैला सके.
माय गॉड.
सो ये मैं दोनों का बता रही हूँ. द चिकन्स दैट आर रेस्ड फॉर मीट, दे आर डिफरेंट. चिकन रेस्ड फॉर मीट एंड चिकन रेस्ड फॉर एग्स. जो चिकन होते हैं जिनको मीट के लिए रेस किया जाता है, उनको हमने जेनेटिकली इस तरीके से मॉडिफाई कर दिया है सो दैट दे बी टॉप हैवी इसलिए ताकि ज्यादा मीट आए, और जो चेस्ट है दैट शुड बी हैवी. एंड ये एक्चुअली जो चिकन कंज्यूम करते हैं लोग, ये बेबीज होते हैं. दे आर ओनली 6 week old. Just 6 week. एंड जो नॉर्मल सेटिंग में जो उनके एंसेस्टर्स होते हैं ना, जंगल फाउल, दे स्टिल एग्जिस्ट. जो हमको कलरफुल मुर्गे दिखते हैं, दे आर जंगल फाउल, दे स्टिल एग्जिस्ट. आप उसमें अगर 6 महीने में उनकी ग्रोथ देखोगे, और ये जो बॉयलर चिकन्स हैं इनका आप देखोगे, यू विल बी शॉक्ड कि हमने क्या कर दिया है. एंड बिकॉज उनको इतना टॉप हैवी कर दिया है, देयर लेग्स क्रम्बल, देयर लेग्स फ्रैक्चर अंडर देयर ओन वेट. And they are left to, they are made to live in their own filth. वो अपने feces में रह रहे होते हैं, and animal feces are very high in ammonia. So बहुत बार उनका skin, उनकी eyes burn हो जाती है उसके कारण. But whereas जब जो मुर्गियाँ अंडे देती हैं, वहाँ पे उनको इस तरीके से एक्सप्लॉइट किया जाता है. जो मुर्गियाँ अंडे देती हैं उनको बैटरी केजेस में रखा जाता है. बैटरी केजेस आज की डेट में बहुत सारे नेशंस में इंक्लूडिंग यूरोप में आउटडेट हो चुके हैं. वो इतने ज़्यादा कन्फाइनिंग होते हैं कि जब ये मुर्गियाँ छोटी छोटी होती हैं, लाइक 1 day old, इनका जो बीक का फ्रंट पोर्शन होता है वो कट ऑफ कर दिया जाता है हॉट ब्लेड से. दे डू इट बिकॉज इस कन्फाइनमेंट में, आउट ऑफ फ्रस्ट्रेशन, दे आर ड्रिवन टू इंसेनिटी, एंड आउट ऑफ फ्रस्ट्रेशन दे पेक एट ईच अदर. एंड sometimes या most times they also show cannibalism. तो जो एक कमजोर होती है उसको मार के, because they're insane. They go insane, and this is done because there is no space. So to compensate for the lack of space, ताकि वो एक दूसरे को पैक ना कर सके, उनका बीक कट ऑफ कर दिया जाता है हॉट प्लेट से. सो ये उनका जो day 1 होता है उनके लाइफ का, ये वहां से स्टार्ट होता है क्रूअल्टी. एंड ऑफ कोर्स एज ए मेंशन, जो जंगल फाउल होते हैं जो कि एंसेस्टर्स हैं चिकन्स के, दे ले 12 eggs इन अ ईयर. 6 months में 6 eggs. बट हमारे पास जो एग लेइंग हेन्स हैं वो रोज एक अंडा पैदा करती हैं, एक अंडा every single day. And egg, as you may know, is ovulation.
It's giving birth every day.
Yeah, it's egg is an ovulation. अगर वो fertilize नहीं है तो वो सिर्फ ovulation ही है चिकन का, और उसके कारण उसका बॉडी इतना डिप्लीट हो जाता है न्यूट्रिशन को कि उसका भी बहुत शॉर्ट लाइफ रहता है, 1 year एट द मैक्स, जब उसका एग प्रोडक्शन डिप्लीट हो जाता है. एंड दे आर ऑल्सो सेंट ऑफ टू द स्लॉटर हाउस. एंड व्हेन द एग्स आर फर्टिलाइज्ड, उसमें भी जो एग लेइंग हेन के एग्स होते हैं, अगेन there are 2 different types. Meat chickens are different and egg laying are different. So जो egg laying hens होते हैं उसमें भी आपको reproduction चाहिए ताकि साइकिल चलता रहे और भी दूसरे egg laying वाले साइकिल में आते रहें. तो इसमें हम लोग सेक्स के थ्रू जो है इंडस्ट्री सॉर्ट करता है चिक्स को. तो जो फीमेल चिक्स होती है वो तो चली जाती है इंडस्ट्री में. जो मेल चिक्स होते हैं, दीज आर नॉट मीट चिक्स. इन्हें इनके जीवन के पहले दिन में मार दिया जाता है विद ग्रूसम मेथड. सो दे आर मैसरेटेड अलाइव, दे आर ड्राउन्ड अलाइव, एंड दे आर buried alive. And these things are all documented by PETA India's investigation. We have our investigation up on a website. It's there on social media. So you can actually see these chicks, these tiny, cute chicks being drowned alive.
I mean, I'm aghast to hear all these things and these methods that, that humans are, you're making it sound like humans are the worst. And I may agree with you on certain points over here, but one thing that you mentioned that, animals can sense.
Yeah.
And they're killed in front of each other. So across slaughterhouses, I would be assuming that, it could be a cow or buffalo or, whatever, a goat or sheep or chickens, etc. They see each other being killed in front of each other. And so what's the study here? Like, what does PETA say about this? That what happens to the psyche of that particular animal when he sees his fellow, the whole cluster being just, executed in such cruel manners? Like, what's going on out there?
It's extremely, fearful for them. And that is why in legislation, we have laws to stun animals before. So the law says that all the animals should be stunned before they are killed. And no animal should be killed in front of the other animal. So that's the law. But again, we know what happens on ground, and how much of laws and how much of regulations are actually followed or applied on ground. So in India, a lot of you must have seen so many meat shops killing chickens or slaughtering chickens. They do not have any stunning facility. One, there is a difference between a meat shop and a slaughterhouse. स्लॉटर हाउस जो होता है जहाँ पे बूचड़ खाने जिसको बोलते हैं, जहाँ पे जानवरों को मारा जाता है. मीट शॉप होता है जहाँ पे सिर्फ मांस बेचा जाता है. बट इंडिया में बहुत सारे इलीगल स्लॉटर हाउसेस हैं जहाँ पे वहीं पे जानवर को मारा भी जाता है और मांस भी बेचा जाता है. और जैसे मैंने कहा कि ऑफ कोर्स ऐसा कोई देखता है, अगर उसको ये चीज़ें नहीं पसंद है, दे कैन रेज इट अप विद द म्युनिसिपैलिटी बिकॉज दे आर द रजिस्टरिंग अथॉरिटी फॉर स्लॉटर हाउसेस. बट उसके अलावा भी दिस इज कंप्लीटली बिकॉज ऑफ द डिमांड. इफ देयर इज डिमांड एंड देयर विल बी सच इलीगल स्लॉटर हाउसेस. सो ये जितने भी स्लॉटर हाउसेस होते हैं, वहाँ ना स्टनिंग फैसिलिटी होती है, वहाँ जानवरों को कहीं और ले जाके मारने की फैसिलिटी नहीं होती है. दे आर किल्ड इन फ्रंट ऑफ ईच अदर. एंड एज आई मैंशन, एनिमल्स बहुत इमोशनल होते हैं. वो सारे इमोशनल स्टेट्स जो एक इंसान महसूस करता है वो एनिमल्स महसूस करते हैं. और हम खुद ही अंदाज़ा लगा सकते हैं कि अगर हमारे सामने मतलब हमको एक एक्सीडेंट भी देख लेते हैं जहाँ पे ग्रीवियसली भी कोई इंजर हुआ है, तो जिस तरीके का फियर हमारे अंदर आता है, वी गेट स्टन्ड. It's same with animals when they see their fellow friends. I mean, वो सब साथ में रहते हैं. They become friends. They fellow beings being slaughtered. They know next is my turn. It's gonna be me next.
No, it's very interesting with the way you've described it, and it's pretty cruel in the way we are handling and killing these animals. And while there is a standard operating procedure laid down by various governments to try and make it less of a suffering for animals that are being farmed for food, I'm assuming that these standard operating procedures are not followed because they want to cut corners and it's a profit driven industry.
Absolutely. And like also that people do not report, and people are accepting of such procedures. People do not want to know where the food comes from. So much so that I'm sharing a personal example. I have a friend who works in an MNC, and really well educated, an engineer. And one day because I do vegan advocacy, that's what we do even, in my personal time. So one day when she was consuming eggs, and I was telling her about, how eggs, from where eggs come from, and she suddenly tells me that no, eggs do not come from hens. How would a hen produce this large number of eggs? Eggs are now made artificially. And I was shocked, because this is an educated person. इनको सब कुछ पता है, इनको ये नहीं पता इनका खाना कहाँ से आ रहा है. इनके परसेप्शन ये है कि एग्स को किसी फैक्ट्री में आर्टिफिशियली बनाया जा रहा है, वरना इतने सारे जो ये जो ट्रे लगी रहती है, इतने सारे कैसे आएंगे, मतलब कैसे मुर्गी देगी इतने.
Or we just choose to ignore, right? They choose to ignore.
They choose to ignore, and people are not, curious about understanding and llearning where their food is coming from. कहाँ से सोर्स हो रहा है, क्या हो रहा है, उसके पीछे की क्या स्टोरी है. पीपल डोंट वांट टू नो. सो हम अपने जो लाइफस्टाइल में हैं और अपने कन्वीनियंसेस में इतने ज़्यादा बिजी हो चुके हैं कि कुछ भी, और हमको ये भी पता है कि अगर हम इफ़ वी लुक इनटू इट, इट विल challenge our convenience. It will, made us challenge our consumption patterns. It will probably make us change
changes,
things. And changing things seems inconvenient.
Right.
So.
Right. I have a lot of questions on veganism, and so does Sued. I'm just going to start the topic and then, hand it over to Sued to ask you a lot of questions that he has as a youngster. So what is veganism and how is it different from just being vegetarian?
So vegans are vegetarians who do not consume anything that come from animals, any products that come from animals, and they do not wear any fabric that is derived out of animal or animal skin, and do not engage in any activities that exploit animals. So this is, dietary vegans are different and ethical vegans are different. So dietary vegans are the ones who do not consume anything that comes from animals, which is milk, including honey. Yeah, because honey also comes from honeybees, right? So, but ethical vegans are the ones who follow an ethical lifestyle, who do not engage in any kind of exploitative practice where, animals have been abused, exploited, or suffered, or anything that comes out of animals, because we truly believe that animals are here with us and not for us. And, we have no right to enslave them, confine them, exploit them, kill them. So, Hindi में शुद्ध शाकाहारी जो होता है, that applies to vegans. Shakahari is for vegetarians. शुद्ध शाकाहारी is for vegans. क्योंकि वो कुछ भी ऐसा नहीं जो है कंज्यूम कर रहे हैं जिससे किसी भी जानवर की या जीव की हत्या हुई है.
Just excuse my ignorance over here, but you mentioned about the bees, honey bees, and not having honey. But are the bees harmed in this process of collection of honey? Really? I mean, I'm unaware.
So apiary is also another business. ये business है apiary. ऐसा नहीं है कि honey bee ने कहीं जंगल में अपना छाता बना लिया, हम गए वहाँ से honey लेके आ गए वगैरह, और वो भी तब जब जो bees हैं they have left. So honey basically is ये honey इसलिए बनाती भी क्योंकि जब winters में when there are no flowers, okay, so this is their resource, so this is their food. तो जब ये हनी इकट्ठा होती है विंटर में, जब कोई फ्लावर्स नहीं होते हैं, और हनी बी का जो साइकिल है, रिप्रोडक्टिव साइकिल, वो होता है, तो जो बेबीज होते हैं और उनके खुद के फीडिंग के लिए दे स्टोर हनी. सो बोलते हैं ना रेनी डे के लिए, तो दैट्स फॉर देम. सो विंटर्स में देयर आर सीजन्स व्हेन देयर नो फ्लावर्स, सो एंड हनी बी कुछ भी नहीं, दे ड्रिंक फ्लावर नेक्टर. सो दैट इज द स्टोर्ड फूड, जो कि वो बनता भी ऐसे है कि हनी नेक्टर, हनी बी जो है वो नेक्टर लेती है और फिर उसके बाद उसको रेगर्जिटेट करके उसको डिपॉजिट करती है. सो बेसिकली इट्स रेगर्जिटेशन ऑफ the nectar. All right. That's honey.
I was not aware of this. But
so there's a question here that I had regarding something that people are not aware of regarding bees.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is real or not, but Albert Einstein has been reputed to have said that if bees somehow go extinct, then mankind won't survive for more than 4 years or something after they go extinct. What is it really that?
Because they're the pollinators, no?
But
so in the process of having the nectar of the flowers, they hop from one flower to the other, and that's how they pollinate. Yeah, so that's why there's so much importance of bees, not just honey bees. बहुत सारे टाइप के bees होते हैं, सिर्फ honey bees नहीं होते हैं. So the bees are the, you know, biggest natural pollinators. Yeah. So अगर वो नहीं होंगे, there wouldn't be any fruits, there wouldn't be pollination. So ये जो पूरा natural structure चल रहा है in and around, I mean हम जो gardening करते हैं उसको आप side हटा दीजिए, तो जो nature में जो natural pollinators हैं जिसके कारण we get to eat beautiful fruits, and this is all because of the honey bees and other bees.
Okay, and I'll tell you what kind of stuff I eat. You tell me what am I. I stopped eating non-veg a year back. I only eat vegetarian food now, but very rarely I do eat eggs.
Okay.
And that's it.
So you are an eggetarian.
Okay.
I don't even understand because there is a chickitarian also, vegetarian also. There is so many things.
हमने अपने convenience के लिए सारे words बना के रखे हुए हैं.
I think it's more for your moral compass that say कि I am वहाँ, मैं तो ठीक हूँ.
Yeah. And मैंने वही बोला ना कि अगर हम कहीं पे भी क्वेश्चन करते हैं कि अच्छा ये कहाँ से आया और ऐसा क्यों, इट चैलेंजेस अ मॉरल कंपास. और फिर हम एक बार, अब ह्यूमंस जो हैं वो अब एक बार जान जाते हैं. इट्स हार्ड फॉर सम पीपल, इट्स नॉट, बट मोस्ट पीपल हु आर कंपैशनेट, it's hard for them to ignore it after having the entire knowledge of, you know, what happens to the animals for their food. And मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि बहुत सारे लोग inherently होते हैं compassionate. It's only because of the societal, as I said, you know, kids are
and conveniences.
But it's mostly conditioning, I feel. It's mostly conditioning because I've seen people who, like me, I was a vegetarian. I was a lifelong vegetarian, although I did not consume meat, but I did consume dairy products. And, you know, I used to take pride in being an animal lover. I considered myself an animal lover, but through my personal experiences, an incident happened in my life where I realized that, oh my God, like, what am I doing? Am I responsible for the plight of that animal? You know, my consumption of dairy is responsible for that. And I just needed to have that knowledge, and I went vegan, you know, overnight. And of course, once you make that move, you get to get involved and you do more research on the subject. So I was a nutritionist, and I was practicing as a physiotherapist and a nutritionist, and therefore I did research on the nutritional aspects as well. And I must say, veganism is a win-win for both animals and humans, because it's not just you know, good for animals, but it's also good for our own health.
Okay, now speaking of health, we did have Sunil Chhetri ji on the show, and he said that he was a very hardcore non-vegetarian before, but recently he just switched to a vegetarian diet, and he said that his performance has grown a lot, and he feels a lot better with it. So and there's a lot common myth in people my age that if you don't eat non-veg, then you're missing out on a lot of athletic abilities that you would be having in sports. If you do eat non-veg, and if you eat vegetarian food and not non-vegetarian, then you don't have that ability. What is the
like lack of proteins, I guess?
Yeah, so you termed it right. It's a myth. It's a myth because one, we need protein. We don't need meat. There's a difference. If we need protein comes from various sources. So ये ना एक बोलते हैं ना USP बना लेते हैं लोग, कोई चीज़ को मार्केट करना हो. So the meat, egg and dairy industry has made protein, calcium the USP. वो बाकी के जो उसमें harmful substances उसकी बात नहीं करेंगे. They will only talk about calcium नहीं मिलेगा, दूध पीना है, meat खाना है, protein नहीं मिलेगा. But that's not true. प्लांट किंगडम में आप जो भी खाते हो, आप जो भी प्रोडक्ट्स कंज्यूम करते हो, चाहे वो दाल हो, चावल हो, रोटी, सब में प्रोटीन होता है. एवरीथिंग, वेजिटेबल्स, एवरीथिंग हैज प्रोटीन इन वेरिड अमाउंट्स. लोगों का ये भी परसेप्शन है कि नहीं प्रोटीन होता है लेकिन लोअर क्वालिटी है, या यू नो उसका वो कंप्लीट प्रोटीन नहीं है वगैरह. बट if you look at a Indian plate, I'm talking about a vegan Indian plate जहाँ पे कुछ नहीं है, सिर्फ दाल है, चावल है और चपाती है, सब्जी है. This is a complete meal. It is a well balanced vegan meal. अगर आप इसमें डेयरी प्रोडक्ट्स हटा दे तो it's a very well balanced vegan meal जिससे आपको प्रोटीन, कैल्शियम सब कुछ मिल रहा है. लेकिन आपको मैं गिना सकती हूँ कि इतने सारे हमारे पास यू नो, मैं ऑल्टरनेटिव्स भी नहीं बोलूँगी. लोगों को लगता है कि वीगन प्रोडक्ट्स की, मैं दीज आर प्रोडक्ट्स that are coming from nature. आप दाल ले लीजिए, it's very high in protein. व्हेन हैड, हमारा इंडियन थाली में हम कभी भी दाल अकेले नहीं खाते, दाल चावल के साथ खाते हैं, रोटी के साथ खाते हैं, सब्जी के साथ खाते हैं. सो ये जो है देयर आर एसेंशियल एंड नॉन एसेंशियल अमाइनो एसिड्स. तो कुछ एसेंशियल अमाइनो एसिड्स जो होते हैं वो हमको बाहर से नहीं मिलते हैं, वो हमको कंज्यूम करने पड़ते हैं हमारे डाइट से. जो नॉन एसेंशियल है वो हमारे बॉडी में खुद ही बनते हैं. तो जो एसेंशियल अमाइनो एसिड्स है वो हमें डाइट से लेने के लिए हमको एक वेरिड फूड सोर्सेस चाहिए. अगर आप दाल चावल सब्जी चपाती खा रहे हैं तो अगर राइस में कोई अमाइनो एसिड मिसिंग है तो आपको वो दाल से मिल जाएगा. अगर दाल में कोई अमाइनो एसिड मिसिंग है तो वो आपको चपाती से मिल जाएगा. अगेन हमारे पास बहुत सारे सुपर फूड्स हैं विच आर complete proteins. We have millets, we have soya. These are complete proteins. अगर आपको बॉडी बिल्डिंग करनी है तो millets जो है ये स्पेशली महाराष्ट्र में और बहुत सारे एरिड रीजन में कल्चरली बहुत खाया जाता था. बट विथ अर्बनाइजेशन हमने फास्ट फूड इंडस्ट्री मिलेट्स भूल गए हम. लेकिन अब इट्स कमिंग बैक नाउ. इवन गवर्नमेंट इज टॉकिंग अबाउट मिलेट्स एंड मिलेट्स को री इंट्रोड्यूस किया जा रहा है. इंडियन डाइट्स में मिड डे मील में री इंट्रोड्यूस किया जा रहा है. सो वी have a lot of food that can give you all the nutrition that you need. And this is not me saying. So Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, which is the world's largest organization of nutrition professionals, says that vegan diet is appropriate for all stages of life, even for athletes. And it also helps people reduce their risk of lifestyle diseases such as diabetes, type 2 diabetes.
What has meat got to do with diabetes?
I mean, meat is high in cholesterol. Do you know that none of the plant sources have cholesterol? Plant-based food doesn't have cholesterol.
Okay.
Zero cholesterol. The only cholesterol that we get from outside is from animal sourced food. हमारा body खुद का cholesterol बनाता है. The cholesterol that we need, of course, cholesterol is also an important nutrient. Insulation के लिए, body के प्रोटेक्शन पर्पस के लिए काम आता है. लेकिन वो जो कोलेस्ट्रॉल है वो हमारा बॉडी वैसे भी बना रहा है. तो एनीथिंग दैट वी आर हैविंग फ्रॉम आउटसाइड इज एन एक्सेस. एंड प्लांट बेस्ड फूड में अगर आप एक कप फुल ऑफ ऑयल भी ले लोगे उसमें वो भले उसमें फैट है, सैचुरेटेड अनसैचुरेटेड, बट देयर इज नो कोलेस्ट्रॉल. तो कोलेस्ट्रॉल हमें सिर्फ और सिर्फ एनिमल डिराइव्ड फूड से ही मिलता है. एंड वी ऑलरेडी नो कि जो फास्ट फूड इंडस्ट्री या जैसे जो मीट कंजम्पशन जैसे बढ़ रहा है, सो इज अ लाइफस्टाइल डिजीजेस. हम ऑलरेडी देख रहे हैं कि जितना अब हम इंडिया इज द डायबिटीज कैपिटल ऑफ द वर्ल्ड वी से. हमारा स्टमक हार्ट डिजीज रेट बढ़ चुका है. देर आर सर्टन टाइप ऑफ कैंसर्स जिसमें ऐसे स्टडीज हुए हैं जिसमें डेयरी कंजम्पशन एंड मीट कंजम्पशन हैज बीन एसोसिएटेड विद सर्टन टाइप ऑफ कैंसर्स. ओबेसिटी इज अगेन is on the rise. It's becoming a pandemic. Speaking of the pandemic, there are zoonotic diseases now, and 70% of infectious diseases that we have now and that have affected humans are zoonotic in nature. That means that they come from animals to humans, and ये mostly तभी transmit होते हैं जब when animals are kept in close proximity. Different species are kept in close proximity, and this usually happens in वेट मार्केट्स जहाँ पे एनिमल्स को रख के वहाँ पे स्लॉटर किया जाता है. तो जब डिफरेंट स्पीसीज दे कम इन कॉन्टैक्ट विद ईच अदर, या जहाँ पे बहुत सिवियर कन्फाइनमेंट में, जैसे हम चिकन्स की बात कर रहे थे, सिवियर कन्फाइनमेंट में उनको रखा जाता है, वहाँ इतना फिल्थ होता है. एंड टू वहाँ पे क्योंकि हम प्रॉफिट्स के लिए काम कर रहे हैं, सैनिटेशन वगैरह ये सब कुछ भी हम इस पे काम नहीं करते हैं. एंड टू कंपनसेट फॉर द सैनिटेशन व्हाट वी आर डूइंग इज वी आर पंपिंग ऑल दीज फार्म एनिमल्स विथ एंटीबायोटिक्स. In fact, 75% of all antibiotics in the world are used for farmed animals.
Oh, really?
Yes. And let me tell you, ये antibiotics ऐसा नहीं है कि ओहो मुर्गी बीमार पड़ गई, उसको infection हो गया and we are treating that. These are given prophylactically to compensate for the sanitation. तो इतनी गंदगी है. These are hotbeds for infections. Factory farms are hotbeds for zoonotic diseases, for infections. और हमने अभी recently देखा है, चाहे वो H1N1 हो, बर्ड फ्लू और या फिर स्वाइन फ्लू, these are on the rise. बर्ड फ्लू अब mammals में भी ट्रांसमिट हो रहा है. There have been recent reports of 12 tigers dying of bird flu in Vietnam.
We have infected this planet actually.
We have infected the planet, and this is all because we want to consume meat. When we have healthier sustainable, kinder alternatives in terms of, and we have the choice to make
This is like
हम कोई like that situation में नहीं है.
Basically आप कह रहे हैं कि एक वुहान जो है वो कहीं पे भी erupt हो सकता है.
कहीं भी erupt हो सकता है. आप सोचिए बर्ड फ्लू, आप एक feline में बर्ड फ्लू हो रहा है. Cows को बर्ड फ्लू हुआ है. I mean they are these viruses are being transmitted, और because of antibiotic यूज जितना हो रहा है फार्म एनिमल्स में, एंटीबायोटिक रेजिस्टेंस भी क्रिएट हो रहा है. तो एंटीबायोटिक रेजिस्टेंट बैक्टीरियाज अब इतने हो चुके हैं. इंडिया भी एंटीबायोटिक रेजिस्टेंस में इज लीडिंग. सो इट्स ऑल्सो अफेक्टिंग आवर ओन हेल्थ. सो अब हम जब एंटीबायोटिक, जो कॉमन एंटीबायोटिक लेते हैं फॉर सर्टेन इन्फेक्शंस, इट हैज स्टॉप्ड अफेक्टिंग अस. एंड यू नो ये दिस इज एक्सट्रीमली डेंजरस. एज अ सेड, not to eat animals is not just good for animals, it's also good for our own health.
And you mentioned athletes also, like he asked you about kids his age want to eat the it's like in the mind it's generated already that it's imprinted that you eat meat, you'll be faster, better, stronger. But a lot of athletes on the other hand, I've been watching that Serena Williams, Virat Kohli,
Novak
Lewis
Djokovic.
Hamilton, Novak, they're all turned vegan.
Yeah.
So what's the, like, are they ambassadors for your
is this like a fad or something, or
it's
what?
not a fad. I mean, in fact, there is a very good documentary called Game Changer, and I must ask you to watch it, and even the viewers to watch it. It's an amazing documentary, and it provides all the explanations that you need why vegan diet. मीट जो है बॉडी में बहुत सारा इन्फ्लेमेशन क्रिएट करता है, जिसके कारण रिकवरी जो है बॉडी की आफ्टर एन इंजरी, बिकॉज एथलीट्स आर मोर प्रोन टू इंजरी ड्यूरिंग द स्पोर्ट. तो आफ्टर एन इंजरी बॉडी का रिकवरी जो है वो बहुत ज़्यादा स्पीड अप हो जाता है व्हेन यू आर ऑन अ वीगन डाइट, बिकॉज मीट बहुत ज़्यादा इन्फ्लेमेशन क्रिएट करता है बॉडी में, और इसके कारण रिकवरी एथलीट्स का डिले होता है. एंड दैट्स व्हाई मोर एंड मोर एथलीट्स आर चूजिंग टू ईट वीगन. एंड एज आई सेड, आज के डेट में आपको सारी न्यूट्रिशन मिलते ही है. आज के डेट में क्या, हमेशा से हमको न्यूट्रिशन मिलते थे. ये सिर्फ जो बोलते हैं ना, मिल्क इंडस्ट्री ने ठेका ले लिया कि कैल्शियम तो दूध से ही मिलेगा, बॉस दूध पीना पड़ेगा, तो ऐसा नहीं है. और सिमिलरली मीट इंडस्ट्री की नहीं, प्रोटीन खाओगे तो मीट खाओगे तो प्रोटीन मिलेगा, नहीं. हमको प्रोटीन चाहिए, हमको मीट नहीं चाहिए, हमको कैल्शियम चाहिए, हमको डेयरी नहीं चाहिए. एंड इसके बहुत सारे सोर्सेस हैं. आपको क्या लगता है कि जो एनिमल्स हम खा रहे हैं, जो प्रोडक्ट्स हम खा रहे हैं फॉर कैल्शियम मीट, उनको कहाँ से मिलता है कैल्शियम और प्रोटीन? उनको
नेचुरल हैबिटेट से. गाय क्या है, वो हर्बीवोरस है ना, तो गाय को कहाँ से आ रहा है बॉडी में कैल्शियम? या जो मीट एनिमल्स हैं उनके बॉडी में प्रोटीन, जो मसल बन रहा है, आफ्टर ऑल इतना मसल बन रहा है तभी तो उसको मीट के लिए आप स्लॉटर कर रहे हैं, तो इतना मसल उसके बॉडी में कैसे बन रहा है? दे आर मोस्टली हर्बीवोरस एनिमल्स. एंड जो बोलते हैं ना स्ट्रॉन्गेस्ट एनिमल्स एंड मोस्ट मस्कुलर एनिमल्स, आप देखिए एलिफेंट है और राइनोसॉर, ये सब तो हर्बीवोरस हैं. हॉर्सेस हैं, ज़ीब्रास, दे ऑल हर्बीवोरस एंड दे हैव सच good muscles. And how are they building muscles? So this, of course, they get protein from all the plant proteins that we have in the nature, and so can we.
So there's a question I have regarding herbivorous animals, since you've already brought them up. There's a theory on Google, I'm not sure who it belongs to, if it belongs to anybody or what it's called, but it says that the intestines that humans have are more similar to that of herbivores than of carnivores.
True.
Even the jaw, na?
Yeah, even the jaw, and that eating non-veg is technically harming us. But on the other flip side, they also said that we evolved from cavemen who ate meat to survive. So technically, we are evolved in that sense to eat non-veg now. Which one are you on?
So recently there were, there was some study which revealed that cavemen did eat animals, लेकिन उनका जो डाइट है ना उसको एनालाइज किया गया था, एंड ये पता पड़ा that they were mostly plant eaters.
Okay.
They ate very little meat, that too from small animals, very little meat. And अगर आप ऐसे भी logically सोचेंगे, जब हमारे पास tools नहीं थे, आज हमारे पास tools है, and that's why we feel killing is extremely easy for us. But when we did not have the tools, killing was an extremely difficult task, and gathering and foraging was an easier task. तो जो animals cavemen खाते भी थे, not necessarily कि वो मार के खा रहे होंगे, हो सकता है वो नेचुरली डेड एनिमल्स हो और वो स्कैवेंजिंग टाइप हो, बट जितना अभी तक एनालाइज हुआ है कि जो recent स्टडीज है उसके हिसाब से दे वो मोस्टली प्लांट ईटर्स एंड नॉट मीट ईटर्स. मीट वाज देयर इन वेरी वेरी स्मॉल क्वांटिटीज इन देयर डाइट. एंड जैसे आपने बोला, हमारा बॉडी जो है ऊपर से लेकर नीचे तक हम पूरी तरीके से हर्बीवोरस हैं. व्हाई? हमारा जॉ, टू स्टार्ट विद जॉ, हमारा जॉ जो है वो पूरा साइड वाइज एंड ऊपर नीचे दोनों मूव होता है, जैसे कि एक गाय का, बकरी का होता है. बट अगर आप किसी कार्निवोर का जॉ देखोगे, इट्स जस्ट it just goes up and down.
Correct.
They don't have this massive
bite and chew. Yeah.
Bite and chew and gulp. Similarly, if you go down, हमारा जो इंटेस्टाइन है ये बहुत बहुत लंबे हैं. मतलब दिस इज लाइक 4 times अ बॉडी साइज. इतने लंबे हमारे इंटेस्टाइन होते हैं. जितने भी हर्बीवोरस एनिमल्स होते हैं उनके इंटेस्टाइन लंबे होते हैं. जो कार्निवोरस एनिमल्स होते हैं उनके इंटेस्टाइन छोटे होते हैं. मीट जो होता है ये बहुत जल्दी रॉट होता है. तो व्हेन कार्निवोर एनिमल ईट्स मीट, उसको जल्दी उसको एलिमिनेट करना होता है बॉडी से. जो भी न्यूट्रिशन है वो निकाल के उसको एलिमिनेट करना होता है. इट डजंट स्टेज इन द एनिमल्स बॉडी फॉर दैट लॉन्ग. और वो मीट ईटर जो होता है वो आप देखिए, जितने भी शेर वगैरह होते हैं उनको पूरा टाइम खाने की जरूरत नहीं होती है. वो 2 दिन में, 3 दिन में, 4 दिन में, कई बार हफ्ते में एक बार हंट करेंगे एंड देन दे आर सेट for the entire week. They do not eat like cows do or the way we do thrice a day. Cows जो है वो उनको पूरा दिन खाना चाहिए होता है. तो ये जो डाइट है हमारा, this is definitely हमारा eating pattern is also herbivorous. हमारा intestine, हमारा skin, जितने भी herbivorous ये एनिमल्स होते हैं इंक्लूडिंग ह्यूमंस, वी प्रेस्पिरेट फ्रॉम अ स्किन. हमको हमारा हीट जब रिलीज करना होता है, हमारे पास स्वेट ग्लैंड्स हैं, हम उसमें से प्रेस्पिरेट करके हीट रिलीज करते हैं. जितने कार्निवोर एनिमल्स होते हैं वो लोग आप पैंट करते हैं. आप देखे होंगे उनके पॉज से हीट रिलीज होता है और वो पैंट करते हैं. तो बहुत सारे ऐसे बायोलॉजिकल चीज़ें हैं जिससे हमको समझ में आता है दैट एनिमल्स दैट आर कार्निवोर आर डिफरेंट एंड वी बिलोंग टू द हर्बीवोर कैटेगरी. बट यही है कि अब खा रहे हैं, डाइजेस्ट हो रहा है, और इरिस्पेक्टिव, अब आपने कभी नहीं सुना होगा कि किसी लायन को जो मीट कंज्यूम करता है या कोई भी ऐसा एनिमल जो मीट कंज्यूम करता है उसको कोई हार्ट डिजीज होती है. नहीं, बट ह्यूमंस को हो रही है. सो मीट इज नॉट मेंट फॉर अ बॉडी. It's a sign.
So coming back to the point about the myth of the vegetarian versus non-vegetarian diet, if a normal person who's 18 years old, who lives in India, who has been eating non-veg his entire life, and who's really into fitness, like working out at the gym or something like that, and he's moving to America now where food is a big problem because he doesn't know how to cook, and he has been suddenly seeing this podcast and he's seeing that vegetarian can actually be better than non-veg for both the environment and the body, and he is convinced that he wants to convert to vegetarianism, but he doesn't know how to cook and he uses that as an excuse to eat non-veg. What will you tell him?
It's just an excuse. So I think in the
Learn
West,
to cook.
Learn to cook, but I mean in the West, veganism is in the forefront all the more. So I think India has always had a reverence for animals, or we have taught the world the benefits of plant-based diet, and even the importance of ahimsa. सो अब तो हमने लोगों को इंस्पायर किया, और यूएस में, यूके में, देर आर बिजनेसेस दैट आर मिशेलिन स्टार रेस्टोरेंट्स आर गोइंग ऑल वीगन, एंड देन देर आर मैकडोनल्ड्स एंड KFC launching vegan products.
That's crazy. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, and that's a stark difference there. So we have inspired them, and it's not difficult to actually source vegan products. I mean, it's just plants, lentils, rice. It's as easy as that. You can pick and eat. I'm sure US में subs वगैरह बहुत ज़्यादा लोग prefer करते हैं, और सब can be made vegan. If you eliminate cheese and if you eliminate dairy and meat, you can make a nice, delicious vegan sandwich, which doesn't even require cooking. I mean, people can just.
I'm getting hungry now. So I could put out a very, I don't know if I should call this a silly argument, but the people who consume non-vegetarian food, they also have an argument, and I don't, like I mentioned, I don't know whether to call this a silly argument, but they always say that, you guys are the vegetarians or the vegans are eating plants. Plants also have feelings, they are also living. So how can you pluck their fruit? It's like pulling out a limb of an animal and eating it. They equate it to that. So what's the deal here? What's the reality here?
See, one is, of course, we are not talking about what's living and what's not non-living. I mean, for human existence, we will be creating some sort of suffering and some amount of harm. That's for all the animals, like their existence, they will be creating a little bit of suffering, and that's what do you say, suffering footprint on this planet. But we're talking about reducing it. So plants, of course, they are alive. We are not saying that plants are objects. They are living beings. But there is a difference between sentient and non-sentient living beings. As I said, animals are sentient because they have the capacity to suffer. And उनको कैपेसिटी है, इसलिए वो सफरिंग से बचने की भी कोशिश करते हैं. प्लांट जो है वो स्टेशनरी है फॉर अ रीजन, एंड प्लांट्स जो है दे रिएक्ट टू अ स्टिमुलस. वो जो है वो बहुत मैकेनिकल रिएक्शन होता है. इट्स नॉट दैट दे आर फीलिंग पेन, बिकॉज टू फील पेन वी नीड अ सेंट्रल नर्वस सिस्टम, and plants lack a central nervous system. But say these are all philosophies, these are all arguments. Someone claims that no, how do you know, maybe later discover होगा, कोई scientist बोलेगा नहीं, plants को भी feel होता है pain and आपको नहीं खाना चाहिए. तो even if you do care about plants, अगर आपको इतनी ही चिंता है, आज की डेट में 1/3 of the global cropland is being used to grow crops or plants to feed farm animals. Farm animals क्या खाते हैं? सो फार्म एनिमल्स भी तो प्लांट्स ही खा रहे हैं, और वो इतना सारा प्लांट्स जो एक फार्म एनिमल खाता है उसके बाद हम उसको स्लॉटर करके खाते हैं. तो हाउ मेनी प्लांट्स आर वी हार्मिंग? सो इवन इफ यू डू केयर अबाउट प्लांट्स, प्लीज ईट प्लांट्स डायरेक्टली. या प्लीज ईट प्लांट्स डायरेक्टली योरसेल्फ rather than channeling it through an animal who consumes vast amount of plants, and then you consume that animal. वो भी आप अकेले सिर्फ वो नहीं खा रहे होगे, you'll still have it along with some plant-based food.
Very interesting.
One point to discuss over here was that I've heard PETA has written a letter to the government of Maharashtra requesting them to rename the Mutton Street to Ahimsa Street. What does Ahimsa exactly mean, and why did you do this?
So Ahimsa, as the name suggests, means non-violence, and non-violence का जो principle है, this was the brainchild or was propagated the most by Gandhi ji. So when we had asked the Maharashtra CM to rename Mutton Street as Ahimsa Marg, this we did to honor Gandhi ji. So the letters asked the CM to do it as a tribute to Gandhi ji, and I think it suits it right, because in a land of ahimsa हम अचानक से
it's going against our own conscience.
हाँ, सब जगह अहिंसा होने की जगह we are doing violence all over. There's hinsa, and so much so that हम ऐसे वर्ड्स जो मटन एंड चिकन, आप लैंग्वेज में भी देखिए, लैंग्वेज में बहुत पावर होता है. हम अपने लैंग्वेज से परपेचुएट करते हैं ये इनइक्वालिटीज एंड डिफरेंसेस. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, व्हेन वी से चिकन, we are not actually thinking about a sentient, intelligent, emotional, living, breathing being. We are thinking about a dead body on a plate.
Right.
And that's why, I mean, मटन स्ट्रीट को अहिंसा मार्ग करने से क्या होता है? इट क्रिएट्स अ रिपल इफेक्ट. जब लोग अहिंसा स्ट्रीट सुनते हैं या अहिंसा स्ट्रीट बोलते हैं रादर देन मटन स्ट्रीट, उससे आसपास के जो बिजनेसेस हैं वो भी वैसे चेंज होना स्टार्ट हो जाते हैं. अगर आज वहाँ पे बहुत सारे नॉन वेजिटेरियन बिजनेसेस हैं, इट विल एनकरेज वेजिटेरियन बिजनेसेस टू गो एंड सेट अप इन दैट एरिया और इन दैट विसिनिटी. एंड हम लैंग्वेज के थ्रू बहुत कुछ जो है बता सकते हैं. हम जब एनिमल्स को हम हमेशा कंटेम्प्ट की तरह यूज करते हैं इन आवर लैंग्वेज. से इफ वी से call someone a pig, so that implies repulsiveness, or if we call someone a dog, that implies contempt or worthlessness. But that's not true. These animals have some astonishing qualities, and by just changing how we use the language, so calling a mutton street an ahimsa marg will make a lot of difference in people's perception, and will also make people think. And when that happens, we will also be tributing our ambassador of non-violence and ahimsa, Gandhi ji. Gandhi ji, as people know, was not only vegetarian, he had also given up milk. So he was kind of vegan, and I'm sure
he was the OG vegan.
OG vegan, and I'm sure if he would have been alive today, he would have definitely been vegan. The kind of cruelty that we do to animals today is unimaginable, and this compassion has been, in human subconsciousness for time immemorial. The Greek philosopher and mathematician Pythagoras said this in 6th BC, that for as long as men will ruthlessly destroy other animals, he will not know health and peace. For as long as men will continue to massacre animals, they will kill each other. So this was in 6th century BC. उन्होंने ये कहा था.
The wisdom from that time.
The wisdom from that time. So it applies in all ages, and more so now, because with the amount of meat people are consuming, or with the way we are breeding animals into existence so that we can kill them, बहुत कुछ चेंज हो रहा है. और स्पेशली इंडिया में, जहाँ पे हम काउस को इतना सीक्रेट मानते हैं, वी हैव सो मच रिस्पेक्ट फॉर अ होली काउस, बट people are ignored. People don't even know why is India the 3rd largest beef exporter in the world. We say no, it's not beef, it's cara beef and all, but ultimately भैंस हो, गाय हो, slaughter हो रहा है, and there's no way to tell the difference, no, I mean between beef and cara beef. And जो गाय है, after dairy industry में, हमारे पास कोई beef industry नहीं है, ऐसा कोई word भी आपने नहीं सुना होगा beef industry इंडिया में.
Is beef banned in India or beef regulated?
So beef is regulated. बहुत सारे states में slaughter cows का ban है, और उनका consumption of beef is banned, possession of beef is banned. बहुत सारे state laws हैं, तो ये एक state subject है, हर state में अलग अलग है, but बहुत कुछ states ऐसे भी हैं इंडिया में जहाँ पे allowed है beef consumption and slaughter of cows. And because of that reason, जो states में नहीं है, वहाँ से भी illegally transport होते हैं. We keep hearing the news कि ये जो illegal cattle का truck पकड़ा गया, and the way they are transported. So 2000 में जब PETA India establish हुआ था इंडिया में by the worldwide founder Ingrid Newkirk, ये इस पे हुआ था कि हमको complaints आ रहे थे, Ingrid Newkirk को complaints आ रहे थे बहुत सारे about the way animals, cows and buffaloes are treated and transported for leather industry in India, and that led to an investigation and foundation of PETA India. And through that investigation, we learned that animals that are illegally transported in such manner are इस कदर उनको भरा जाता है ट्रक्स में that their bones break, they suffer suffocation, and many of them die en route. And जो बच जाते हैं उनको तो खैर वहां ले जाके कत्ल खाने में they put a knife in their throat and they kill them, but en route ही बहुत सारे जो है they suffer grievous injuries, fractures, and some of them suffocate and die. So in India, the state of our cattle or cows is such. इंडिया में इलीगली बहुत कुछ जो है गाय, वो उनका इसी तरीके से गाय भैंस जो हैं उनका इलीगल स्लॉटर होता है और इलीगल ट्रांसपोर्ट भी होता है. और लोगों को यही नहीं पता है कि जो एथिकल वेजिटेरियंस हैं, बहुत सारे लोग हैं जो अलग अलग रीजन के कारण वेजिटेरियन होते हैं, कुछ हेल्थ के कारण होते हैं, बट जो एथिकल वीगन वेजिटेरियंस हैं, they take pride in the fact that they are not harming any animal, but that's not true, because जैसे मैंने कहा इंडिया में कोई बीफ सेक्टर, बीफ इंडस्ट्री नहीं होता है. और इसी टाइप के जो इन्वेस्टिगेशन हमने किए उसी से हमें पता पड़ा दैट बीफ इंडस्ट्री के लिए जो कैटल है वो डेयरी इंडस्ट्री ही सप्लाई करता है. बिकॉज जो गाय है, बहुत लोगों को ये भी नहीं पता कि गाय अनलाइक अदर मैमल्स, लाइक अदर मैमल्स एंड लाइक ह्यूमंस, तभी दूध देती है जब वो बच्चा पैदा करती है, या प्रेग्नेंट होती है, या बच्चा पैदा करती है, तब तक ही लैक्टेशन साइकिल रहता है. एंड वंस द calf grows up, वो lactation खत्म होगा. So that's why they are put in a continuous cycle of pregnancies so that the milk continues to flow. और ये जो continuous cycle of lactation है या pregnancy है, उसको continue करने के लिए what we now do is called artificial insemination. So ये naturally जो है कुछ नहीं होता है कि calf pregnant गाय जो है pregnant हो रही है या calf born हो रहा है, उसमें से हम artificially impregnate करते हैं, जिसमें कि farmer जो कि एक ट्रेन प्रोफेशनल नहीं है, वो जो गाय होती है उसका रेक्टम में they insert the entire arm and then they insert a pipette, a really long pipette which has semen, and they impregnate the cows. And that's how, I mean, if we were to do this process to a dog, brutal. We would call it rape.
Yeah.
But we do it with a cow in all the industrial settings, or all the industrial dairy settings.
That too in a country where it's so sacred.
Everywhere, like this is, and इसके लिए ये promote करती है government. So artificial insemination is quite common in India now, and it's a routine procedure for all cows. And that's not where the cruelty ends. Actual जो suffering है वो तब चालू होती है जब बच्चा पैदा होता है, because like all mammals, cows are excellent mothers and they immediately get bonded with their calves. आपने बहुत सारे videos देखे होंगे where cow is trying to protect the calf, अगर उसको कोई लेके जाने की कोशिश कर रहा है. That's because they are very emotional mothers and they want to protect their babies. But in all dairy settings, calves are separated from their mothers on day one, because humans have got down to that कि हम जो पहला दूध होता है उसका भी कुछ डेजर्ट बनाते हैं. So ऐसा नहीं है कि हम सिर्फ दूध ले रहे हैं. जो first milk, which is extremely important for a newborn baby, चाहे
we've taken that away also.
We have taken that away, and उसके अलावा भी हम राशन करते हैं मिल्क काफ का, और वो भी तब जब अगर फीमेल काफ होती है तो हम उसको मिल्क रिप्लेसर में डालते हैं, राशन करते हैं, क्योंकि उसको भी बड़ा करके उससे भी दूध निकालना है. बट अगर मेल काफ होता है तो वो कोई यूज का नहीं है. सो दे आर ऑफ नो यूज टू द डेयरी इंडस्ट्री. दे आर लाइबिलिटी. दे आर टिपिकली सेंट फॉर स्लॉटर फॉर बीफ एंड लेदर. सो मेल काफ्स के साथ ऐसा हो रहा है. और जो गाय है जब वो बूढ़ी हो जाती है, और बूढ़ी भी ऐसे हो जाती है कि बूढ़ी होती नहीं है, 5-7 साल में उसका दूध देना बंद हो जाता है. इतने रिपीटेड साइकिल ऑफ प्रेगनेंसी में दे बिकम ड्राई, अनप्रोडक्टिव, एंड देन दे आर ऑल्सो टिपिकली अबैंडन ऑन द रोड इफ देर आर रेगुलेशंस ऑन नॉट स्लॉटरिंग द काउज, और दे आर illegally then sent to the slaughterhouse to be killed. So that's what's happening. So that's for the vegetarians who think that by consuming dairy they are not harming animals. Right. Actually they are.
Another point I'd like to discuss is somewhat controversial in nature, and that is a lot of Hindu Indians believe that PETA is only targeting Hindu festivals. The main question is that why do they always say let's celebrate a crackerless Diwali, but why not a treeless Christmas or a bloodless Eid? Like, why don't you ever say anything to other communities, and why only Hindu communities?
That's not true. We do have campaigns around Eid al-Adha, which is the Eid when animals are slaughtered, and we have done various things, and it's also up on our website and our social media pages. We have done vegan food donations in collaboration with vegan Muslim celebrities. We have staffers who are Muslim and vegan, and we have done Instagram lives to discuss how every religion preaches non-violence and doesn't want to harm animals. So we have done various campaigns in and around Eid. We ensure that there are no illegal sacrifices happening, and we do write to the police authorities to ensure that animals, whether killed for sacrifice or for slaughter, only needs to be killed by law in a registered licensed slaughterhouse, which is licensed by the municipality. And one cannot kill animals anywhere on the street or in their houses, and we work on that as well to ensure that there is strict enforcement of these laws. So we do a lot of activities around Eid, but people I have no idea why would they not go back and see the activities that we do on Eid and always come up with, these excuses. It's probably because we are, challenging the outdated practices. And to be honest, India, as I said, is a land of ahimsa. We have always had reverence for animals, and even our constitution, in Article 51 AG, Constitution of India makes it a fundamental duty of every citizen to have compassion for animals. And the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act of 1960 makes it illegal to unnecessarily cause suffering to an animal. So, whether it is training elephants in temples or killing animals in the name of sacrifice, religious sacrifices, or killing birds by sharp manja. All these practices, or firecrackers, disrupting wildlife with firecrackers, these all stand against the true spirit of being an Indian. And that's what my message is. We can be, mindful of the impact or, practices are causing on the animals. And we recently, also did speak about Gadamai festival, which was happening in Nepal, which is a neighboring state, where this is a mass animal sacrifice. It's called the world largest.
Bali, no?
Yeah, world largest animal sacrifice. And we wrote to the CM of Bihar, and we, asked them to have more forces on the Bihar-Nepal border to ensure that no animals from India are being illegally transported to Nepal. We wrote to the PM of Nepal asking him to, make this an outdated practice, because there's a lot of international criticism about Gadamai across. And similarly, even here in India, we do so many activities around Eid, and we try to ensure that animals are not just being killed during Eid. So although we do activities during Eid, we also work throughout the year, to advocate for veganism and to advocate for meat-free diets, because animals are being killed every single second of the day. We are now killing 92 billion animals. We are just 8 billion humans on the planet. We are killing 92 billion animals, land animals, and trillions of fishes every single year. That's mad. 8 billion humans killing 92 billion land animals and trillions of fishes every single year. And if I talk about chickens, at least 1 million chicken are being killed every 4 hours just in India. So animals are being killed every passing second as we talk. It's not just Eid. I mean, sure, of course, we talk about Eid, we talk about Diwali, we talk about anything and everything that potentially harms animals and cause unnecessary suffering for them.
Right. So there's another question that I had about veganism. What is its contribution to climate change?
I think you spoke about this in one of your talks.
Yes, I
did. That veganism can help combat climate change. So
yes.
How does that work?
1/5 of the human-induced greenhouse gas emissions are coming from the egg, meat, and dairy industry, basically animal agriculture put together. And this greenhouse gas is methane, which is 20 times more potent than CO2 in a span of 20 years. So the molecule is that potent. And we have studies, from India. So there's a study from IIT Delhi and Deenbandhu Choturam University. They conducted a study, and the study says that the Indian cattle, the Indian livestock population, considerably increases the global temperature by the emissions of greenhouse gases. So greenhouse gases is one. Other than that, 1/3 of the global cropland is being used to produce feed for farm animals, whereas it can be used, to produce food for hungry nations or the malnourished population. We are producing that food to feed farm animals. 1/3 of the freshwater resources are being used to supply water to the meat, egg, and dairy industry, not just to, not just the drinking water for animals, but meat is a product that requires a lot of water just to clean it and to process it. So the processing requires a lot of water. In fact, this water footprint network that says that to produce 1 kilogram of beef, which is of course then the dairy cattle as well, we require 3,000 gallons of water, whereas to produce 1 kilogram of vegetable, we require only 70 gallons.
Oh.
So you do the math. So whether it is, depletion of freshwater resources or the production of crops that could feed the hungry population, or whether it is the greenhouse gas emissions, Meat, egg and dairy industry is causing massive harm to the environment, and not to forget the, fecal matter. These fecal matter pollute our rivers. These fecal matter even pollute our soil. So when, we talk about, E. coli infection in some vegetable, it's not coming from the soil, it's coming from the feces.
Right.
Very interesting, because also another thought I had in my mind was that while we have talked about, animal cruelty and what PETA is doing to try and counter it or prevent it or raise awareness about this, we also, the humans are also using animals for entertainment.
Yes.
Like, for example, zoos and circuses, apart from, for fashion. And also we are doing a lot of testing using animals. So what's PETA doing about this?
I'll start off with the good news that thanks to the PETA India's efforts, now testing cosmetics or the ingredients on animals in India is illegal. It's banned. So we no longer in India test cosmetic or their ingredients on animals. However, there are companies that are selling products in India as well as in other countries, and by law they are required to do animal test for the other countries. But in India, no testing is required. And we have scientists in a team that are working towards making other scientists switch towards more human relevant test methods, such as organ on chip, such as computer modeling. So these are humane, relevant, and more effective methods of experimentation. In fact, scientists and studies have revealed that all these animal tests we do, most of them are just out of scientists' curiosity and are not actually producing any results. So there are now, with the advancement of technology, we have so many in vitro test methods that are available, and a lot of scientists are making this switch. So that's there. And zoos are again prisons for animals, because zoos do not have anything natural or enriching that's meaningful to animals.
Caging them.
They're caging them, and it's not even for any educational purpose, because now we know everything we wanted to know about animals. And then there are sanctuaries where the animals who have lived in confinement or who have been disabled permanently or injured, they keep animals. And sanctuaries are of course better, because they are actually working towards protecting the animals, and they are home for the animals that were once living in captivity. But zoos are actually enslaving. They're just getting the animals from the wild and then just keeping them in confinement. And because we have been through COVID, we understand, what confinement feels like. And in fact, with zoos, there's another problem, that most of the animals are in solitude. So imagine the kind of loneliness they must feel being in that solitude, never being able to meet another kind from their own species, never being able to...
For something that they didn't really do wrong.
They didn't do anything wrong. Never being able to raise families, never been able to, exhibit any behavior that's natural to them, because they live in, concrete floors. So zoos are extremely pathetic places, and we do not require them, especially in today's day and age. We have so many forms of entertainment. Circuses use beatings and, psychologically and physically tormenting animals to make them do tricks. And any animal, the demeaning tricks that zoos and circuses and, other such entertainment places make animals do are not natural at all. An animal wouldn't do it, in nature. How do we make them, perform such tricks? Is only with, beatings and psychologically and physically tormenting them and breaking their spirits, so that, they start performing such tricks. And same is the case with animals that are used for rides. So animals' backs are not meant to bear a weight and, for us to ride on them. So we, here in India, you know that we use ghodi for shadi, right? And लोगों को ये पता नहीं होता how they're starting. Like marriage is a very sacred thing, and how they're starting off their marriage with such a cruel act. Because ये जो घोड़ियाँ होती है, हम बोलते हैं ना लगाम घोड़ी की लगाम, तो लगाम क्या है? These are spiked bits. Okay, and these spike bits are also, by the way, banned, but they are commonly used in horses. So there are plain bits and there are spike bits. ये spike bits में से ये नोकीले bits होते हैं, लगाम, नोकीली लगाम, जो कि घोड़े के मुंह में डाली जाती है, उससे कंट्रोल किया जाता है. सो इफ यू मस्ट हैव सीन कोई शादी वाला घोड़ा, पहले तो horses are not very calm around the firecrackers and such a crowd. They get extremely fearful.
Provoked, yeah.
They get provoked. And इसलिए आपने देखा होगा जब भी घोड़ी को है ना, यहाँ जो लगाम रहती है ना, वहीं से पकड़ा होता है, जो हैंडलर होता है हॉर्स का. That's because वो जो लगाम होती है वो इतनी पेनफुल होती है. It causes them immense pain, immense suffering, bleeding and permanent deformity inside the mouths. तो वो खींच के पकड़ के रखता है इसके लिए, ताकि उसको कंट्रोल कर सके. वरना horse power बोलते हैं हम, horses are extremely powerful animals.
I mean, if it kicks someone from behind, that person is gonna get knocked out.
Yeah, so to make them submit to human will, हम इस तरीके के weapons यूज करते हैं. Elephants के लिए आपने देखा होगा, मतलब weapons यूज होते हैं which are very sharp. तो ये सारे weapons यूज करके we make them submit, because these are extremely powerful animals. They wouldn't otherwise submit to humans, to obey human commands.
Right. Speaking of circuses and all these testing materials, I've heard, I don't know if it's true, but that Singapore is using holographic animals instead of real ones to perform the stunts. So is it true?
Yes, and there are many. As I said, now with the advancement of technology, we have so many relevant humane methods that scientists can switch to.
Even I heard that even PETA India is also advocating a lot of alternatives, like in terms of farming.
Yes.
Where pineapple skin, many other skins of fruits, etc., vegetables are being used for alternative forms of wearing a belt or making clothing and all that. So can you just talk to us about that?
We have come a long way. So India being an agricultural country, now farmers are also benefiting from using agricultural waste. So banana, pineapple peel, cactus, mango peels, all of these agricultural waste are being used to make humane leather, vegan leather. And just recently, thanks to the efforts from PETA India and Lakme Fashion Week, over 12 big designers have pledged to go leather free.
Wow.
Entirely. So
awesome.
Hats off to that.
Yeah. So that's leather, and then there is silk. Now we have vegan silk as well. So there's a company called Tencel Lux, and they are now producing vegan silk. It's a beautiful, shiny fabric, similar to silk. A lot of people do not know that, okay, silk, how does silk come from? And silk is absolutely normal. Silk is made from the cocoon of silk larvae. And at least 10,000 silk larvas are burned alive, boiled alive to extract their cocoon, which produces one silk sari. So 10,000 larvae killed, boiled alive to
10,000 lives.
10,000 lives just for one silk sari. And who would want to, fashion in that silk that has come from murder of so many,
It's probably because people, A, that they're unaware, or B, because, they choose to ignore.
Yes, and the thing is that now there are so many alternatives available, whether it is fashion, whether it is food. Even for food, one, of course, we do not require meat and milk. As I said, we require protein, we require calcium, we do not require meat and milk. But there has been some cultural conditioning, and, we have got used to having milk in a tea, coffee, etc. And even for that, we have so many alternatives, like from soy to almond. Now we have, plant-based meat. India is also, there are companies that are now researching and developing cultured meat, which is, which is coming from animal cell, but of course it's minus the confinement, enslavement, torture and killing of animal. It is animal cell. It's exactly like normal meat. It looks like, it is meat. Because it's from animal cell, but it's been produced in laboratory rather than, killing an animal. So now we have so many alternatives. You name it. People need curd. There is vegan curd available. There's vegan cheese available. There's everything for the people who are, who want to switch, but they are habituated with, their dietary
They don't know what are the alternatives.
Yeah, we don't need it as it is. Milk especially, humans are the only mammals or only species on earth that drinks milk after infancy.
You know, this
None of the mammals
this reminds me of this movie that we watched some time back. I think it's called Ship of Theseus or something like that. I don't know how to pronounce it properly, but there's a small case in that movie where a Jain sannyasi is fighting for his argument is that if you want to kill an animal and eat it, then kill it and eat it. But why do you have to torture it till then? So he's fighting for some laws to stop the confinement and the torture and the testing, but just take the animal, kill it directly, and then eat it. Don't torture it up till then. What are your thoughts on that?
So one, I think I don't think the animals want to be killed.
I mean, they need to be part of the discussion, right?
Yeah, I mean, we have to always think from the perspective of the victim.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, if someone asks me, whether you want to be tortured, imprisoned and killed, or whether you just want to be killed, I would say I would not want to be killed. That's my first choice. I don't want to be killed. So, of course, that's the perspective of the victim. If you are putting yourself in their shoes, you would not want your life to be taken away. But of course, confining, enslaving them, and all of that is all the more bad. But if a natural dies of the if the animal dies of the natural cause, or if it's a roadkill, and if someone wants to consume that meat, that's okay. But killing is definitely not something that we should agree with morally, and animals are equally deserving of the legal and moral protection we offer to our fellow humans. They are no different. As I said, we are just creating these differences. Say if we talk about racism, there were human slaves. And these human slaves were also treated as property, and they were, denied anything and everything that's natural to them. And that's tortured. What we are doing. Yeah. And that's what we are doing to the animals. We have objectified them and commodified them to such an extent that we are now considering them as objects and commodities. We are, objectifying them as either food ingredient or fabric or subject of experimentation. But that's not what they are. They are living sentient beings who deserve our consideration.
I think this has been a very eye-opening podcast for us, because we've learned a lot from, basic lack of awareness that we had. And I think we just take it for granted that, just wearing a leather belt is not a big deal.
Yeah.
Or, where my food or where my non-vegetarian food comes from is not a big deal. Why should I care? I just want to consume and move ahead. But I'm glad that, we've done this episode, because it has opened our eyes on so many things that we were unaware of, especially clothing, especially things for fashion, even handbags or even leather wallets for that matter. What I want is that, what I want to bring out is that, our Sanatan Dharma has always talked about, leading a Sattvic lifestyle and a Sattvic Bhojan. And I think that is something that we have moved so far away from, and, using our own conveniences, for our own conveniences rather. We've just gone about butchering all these animals, and now we're also using them for entertainment, for so many other purposes. Just for anything that we want, we have objectified them to that level, and we have slaughtered and tortured them for so many centuries now. And I would just like to know that since it's your 25th anniversary while we're recording this of PETA India, what's your message to mankind at large?
You're so right, Kunal, because yes, we have been following a Sattvic lifestyle forever, and that's what, so many of our religious leaders have advocated for, whether it is, Dada G.P. Vaswani, or it's Brahma Rishi Mohanji or Acharya Prashant Ji. They all have, talked about the importance of living a cruelty-free lifestyle and eating cruelty-free products and eating vegan products and vegan diet. I also would want to, mention that India is the country that has brought veganism in the forefront. The very early vegans were the Brokpa tribe, which was from 5,000 years ago. They used to live in Himalayas, and they were the first vegans ever documented in the history. So India and our culture, our Sattvic culture, is truly commendable in a way that it has always, told us that the vegan lifestyle or a cruelty-free lifestyle is the lifestyle we all should and must follow for living a happy, healthy, and sustainable life. So just by going vegan, a person saves up to 200 animals in a year. And going vegan, I feel, is the easiest way one can, help animals if they want to. There are other ways that people can help animals, and that is by, talking about why it is important to be kind to animals and why it is important to be a vegan. Today, we have so many vegan alternatives available at our fingertips. Whether you like chocolate, there are vegan chocolates. Whether you like leather, there's vegan leather. Everything available in the market. Now we do not have any excuse to continue to imprison, exploit, and kill animals for our pleasures. So we have at PETA India plenty of resources, literature, guides, and we are here to help anyone who's ready to take that step and ready to make transition. Please visit petaindia.com to know more about how to transition to a sustainable, kind vegan living.
Thank you so much, Kiranji, for being on the show. I think this was very enlightening and an eye-opener for many people of us who just go about their daily lives thinking that, hey, I'm a good human and I'm a good citizen, good global citizen, and I've just done my duty by, not eating meat. But now that I understand about the entertainment side and, how we are using, how humans are using and exploiting these animals, I'm going to think twice before I visit a zoo, before I go to a circus or take my children there or, just go there for all these kinds of entertainment. I'm going to think twice about what I wear. I'm going to think twice about what I consume, like milk chocolate, for example. So thank you for giving us this awareness. And I hope that this podcast reaches to as many people. And I hope it helps us stay in that balance that we're supposed to. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. The pleasure was all mine.